Hey, what's up, y'all? It's the RazMansReality. Hopefully, this edition will sound and look okay. Yours truly has been under the weather for a couple days and had a very, very rough day yesterday. And if you watched yesterday's show, you know that my picks didn't go all that well either. Because what happened yesterday was proof that in the playoffs and in football in general, anything can happen, as both the Arizona Cardinals and the Baltimore Ravens, and I really hate saying that one, pulled off the upset, so they will move on to play in their conference championship games respectively. Today, the first game is on Fox at 1 p.m. It is the Philadelphia Eagles at the New York Giants. I gotta go with the Giants in this game because to me, you can't bet against the defending Super Bowl champions. But we've seen that if the right player gets hot, the Eagles can be effective, and in their case, that means great defense, Brian Westbrook, and Donovan McNabb. So this should be an interesting thing to watch. Philadelphia is much like Arizona in the sense that they weren't supposed to be in this position, but they're getting hot at the right time. But I think what will happen in this game, though, is Brandon Jacobs and Derek Ward and possibly even Ahmad Bradshaw will help open up the passing lanes enough for Eli Manning to be effective. Granted, it's going to be hard without Burris, but the Giants have been without Plexico Burris for a while now. And in the second game, the later game, which I'm hoping is a very fast game, and I'll get into why here in a second, but it's the San Diego Chargers at the Pittsburgh Steelers. This one is a very, very tough one to call, by the way, on CBS. Very, very tough one to call. But I'm going to go with somewhat of an upset here. I like the Chargers in this game because Darren Sproles shows that if he gets protection and running lane from that offensive line, he can be dominant, just as dominant as LT used to be. If LT does anything in that game, that's another weapon that the Giants have to worry about. And then you have Phillip Rivers and his ability to execute in the passing game, which he does so well if he gets any kind of run support at all. I just think Pittsburgh relies too much on Ben Roethlisberger, which enables them, and their defense, which enables them to be primed for a defeat, especially since, like I said in yesterday's block, no longer relevant to the Titans, but the Titans did beat them 2 weeks ago very, very handily. So they're just not a team that really scares me right now. But if Roethlisberger gets hot, that could very well change. But that's my prediction for today. Whether or not it happens, well, that's up to the sport and up to football itself. Now, I mentioned that I hope that the late game between the Chargers and the Steelers will be a fast game. And the reason for that is yours truly desperately needs that game to be over by 8 p.m. Because tonight, after 2 years of waiting due to the writers' strike, it is finally time for Season 7 of the greatest thrill ride on television, 24. Now, I do know a little bit of information about this season, so what I'm going to do is count backwards from 5. If you don't want to get spoiled by anything, then you will stop watching this block after 5. I'm going to really quickly do the movie review for today, which is Hancock. This movie is about Will Smith. He plays a superhero who is belligerent and who is lonely, and this whole movie centers around the mishaps surrounding him. Pretty decent bonus features and a very, very interesting story as to who this guy Hancock is and what his deal is. So I actually highly recommend this one. A lot of people didn't like this movie, but I did. Now, I'm going to go back to 24. I'm going to count backwards from 5. If you don't want to be spoiled in anything, I will just say this before I do it, and that is, if you haven't seen this show, you gotta check it out. It's the best written, most thrilling show on TV. You're always guessing. You never know where it's going. Even with me knowing something about where the beginning of this season will go, I have no clue where it goes. And the reason it's called 24 is because it's based on a 24-hour day. And this week we have the first 4 hours coming to us on back-to-back days, which are today and tomorrow being Monday. So now for the backwards count from 5. If you don't want to be spoiled, please stop listening by the time I get to 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The beginning of this season is going to be Jack Bauer being questioned by the Congress, because CTU, in the course of the time that Bauer's been on the run from the law, and if you saw 24 Redemption, you know a little bit about where he was and what he was doing, but in between season 6 and 7, he of course has been on the run from the law, and in between that time, CTU has become vilified and considered illegal, I guess. So Congress is questioning Bauer, and long and short of it, he's brought into an investigation where he runs into an old friend. And that is all I'm going to say. I'm not going to spoil anymore, because if you don't know, you definitely want to see for yourself. With that, this is reality according to the RazMan and RazMan style. It's not just a catchphrase, but a way of life.